Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to prepare soil. This is what the soil should look like.
Okay.
Also, go and collect some water as well. Now you should have all your supplies. You should have an empty pot, soil, and some water. The first step is transferring the soil which you have collected to your small pot. I'm going to spill water on here. Let me just look. Do something here. Ready? Now I'm going to water the soil evenly for about 10 seconds. Draining. I don't want to ruin the table though. This is what the soil should look like. Wet, loose, and a little bit compact. Now that you've prepared the soil, you can plant just about any seeds you want in here, whether it would be tomatoes, peppers, or even radishes.
Hey everyone, my name is Akash Munshi, and welcome to the Buckner Project's series of science and environment videos. Today, we're going to learn about gardening. In this PowerPoint of Week 1, gardening, we're going to learn the basics. So, some of you may ask, what are the benefits of gardening? Gardening can help encourage you to eat healthier. It can help you to reduce stress. It can help you to build self-esteem. It can help you bond with family and friends. And most importantly, gardening can make you really happy and relaxed. Slide 2. How do you garden? Part 1. Planting seeds. So some of you might be wondering, how do you plant seeds? So just a common thing you have to learn first is most vegetables are grown from seeds. And the seeds of these vegetables vary greatly. A zucchini seed is much larger than that of a pepper. All vegetable seeds are unique and come in a variety of shapes and sizes, as I just mentioned. Most vegetables have different sowing requirements, and sowing is the process of planting seeds. So, some of the common steps of planting seeds and sowing are, first, get the flower pot. And this is kind of like a general kind of statement. You don't necessarily need a pot to begin growing fruits and vegetables. You just need a place that's free of weeds, that has good soil, or if you don't have that, a pot will work as well. Next, you want to put the soil in the flower pot or just any pot. And if you're growing in the ground, then you won't need this. Next, you want to put seeds in your pot with soil or just a good place in the ground. Next, you want to water the plants thoroughly. And second to last, you want to put the pot or place where you're growing. And if you're growing in the ground, you want to find a place that has a lot of exposure to sun. And if you're growing in a pot, you want to put the pot in a place that gets a lot of sun and that isn't in the shade too much. And lastly, if you follow all the steps correctly, you should get a nice big sized plant. Next slide. How do you garden? Part 2. Sun and water. So some of you guys might be asking, how much sun and how much water do these plants need? So most vegetables, for example, need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every day to perform best. And direct sunlight is a place where the sun is hitting directly at the plant or spot. Some vegetables can be grown in shade, but still require a couple hours of direct sunlight. And most vegetables tend to need direct sunlight, and very few can grow in shade. But there are some which will thrive in shady conditions and don't need a lot of light. Vegetable plants have to be watered every 2 days where there is no rain. In some cases, vegetable plants require a lot more water, usually in places that are a lot drier and have very hot weather, such as Dallas. So, common gardening tools. So, in order to plant your plants, to dig holes to plant seeds, and to de-weed your garden, you're going to need a lot of tools. So, one common gardening tool, it's probably the most common in my opinion, is the trowel. It's a handheld shovel commonly used for digging, removing weeds, and moving soil. Many times, if you're planting with your school or with your family, this is perhaps the only gardening tool that you'll use. The next one is a spade. As you can see in this second image, it's a much wider shovel with a rectangular blade. And it is also much longer as well, although it doesn't look like it in the picture. A spade is used for planting much bigger plants, such as trees. And lastly, the final tool is a hoe. A hoe is a flat blade attached to a wooden handle. It is used for shaping and turning soil and digging long trenches for planting. So in the spring, when you're kind of tending to the soil and kind of making sure the soil is good for planting, you're going to want to use a hoe to kind of move the soil around and get some of that more rich, nutrient-rich soil from underneath on top. A hoe can also be used if you're wanting to plant seeds in big quantities. And hoes are pretty much the only gardening tool that you'll use for digging trenches. And trenches are used when you have a large kind of gardening bed and you want to plant seeds in large amounts in them. And that's it. Thank you guys.